I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on Closing Arguments. And I want to begin this hour the way I end a show. I usually end the show by showing you a photo of a child. I'm going to begin this hour by showing you the photo of a child. Mason Dominguez is his name. 4 years old. 4 years old. Scrappy little kid. Look at the hair, the curls, the smile. I wish that I was showing you this picture at the end of the show because we'd still be looking for Mason. But we're not looking for Mason tonight because we know exactly where he is. He's resting in peace. But I don't know if it's actually peace because of the way he died. This is the police line. This is the footage from the scene of the crime, which is a home in Las Vegas. And in that home in Las Vegas, that little angel, that 4-year-old boy, was found in a freezer. In a freezer. Like, who does that? Why would you do that? What was this little guy's world like? We know what it should be like. And I know what it would be like if he was with you or if he was in my house. He'd be the center of attention. We would be doing everything and anything we could to make sure we could see that smile all day long. But that wasn't his world. And the man charged with ending that life and placing that 4-year-old in the freezer, his name is Towson. And he made his first appearance in court out in Nevada. Let's take a look.
Mr. Towson, you were given a copy of a criminal complaint charging you with murder, child abuse and neglect or endangerment resulting in substantial bodily harm, child abuse, neglect or endangerment, and first-degree kidnapping resulting in substantial bodily harm.
And I know all criminal defendants are presumed innocent, and I'm presuming him innocent, but you don't have to, folks. You have your opinion based upon what you know. It's the jurors, if he goes to trial, it's the jurors who have to presume him innocent. It's the jurors who have to listen to all the evidence and be convinced. You can make up your minds whenever you want if you're not on the jury. That's just the way the world is. We're learning more about this case, and our affiliate KTNV out in Nevada, out in Las Vegas, Nevada, doing a great job covering this. Special reporter Abel Garcia. Let's take a listen to what Abel learned about what happened to little Mason.
I spoke to the attorney who was representing Dacia Maldonado, the mother of the 4-year-old Mason Dominguez, who was found dead in the freezer. This is how the mom tells him the whole thing went down. I want to take you back to January of last year. That is when Dacia Maldonado's husband, Eli Dominguez, died. Now we progress a little bit more forward in this story. Towson was a friend of Eli Dominguez. He comforted Dacia Maldonado after she lost her husband. Their friendship then turned into a romantic relationship, and Dacia moved in with Brandon in March of 2021. And now we move forward a little bit more. Towson slowly started taking control of the family until they were trapped. The attorney says Dacia is locked in a room and separated from her children. And that was right there in December 2021 when Mason Dominguez also went missing. Dacia Maldonado and daughter Riley Dominguez were held captive. Now at that point, Dacia had no idea where her son was. She says back in December, Towson took her son into the master bedroom, barricaded the door, and refused to let her see him. The attorney says the house was like a fortress. He had locks, window alarms, motion sensors, and other security protection to prevent them from escaping. The attorney says he took over all her accounts and cut communication with their family. He says during the captivity, there was never a time the victim could flee with her children. Most of the time, the family was locked in separate rooms. Whenever Towson took Maldonado in the car, he handcuffed her to the armrest even when taking her daughter to school, until February 20th. Dacia Maldonado got to have time with her daughter, Riley Dominguez, for the first time since held captive. Now, the attorney says during that time, Dacia coached her daughter, Riley, and eventually gave her a note to take to school and hand to her teacher. Then, on February 22nd of 2022, which was this Tuesday, Dacia Maldonado and Riley Dominguez were rescued. Brandon Towson was arrested. Mason Dominguez was found dead inside of a freezer. Towson, the 33-year-old, has now been charged with both kidnapping and murder. He was arrested on Tuesday after police were dispatched to his home in East Las Vegas.
And again, thanks to Abel Garcia doing amazing work out there in Vegas. What a house of horrors. This 4-year-old boy, that was his life. I mean, he lost his dad at a young age, and then this alleged monster comes into their life. And you heard what the allegations are there. This is sick, sick stuff. Let's bring in our investigators. Joining me tonight in Los Angeles, California, retired FBI Special Agent Bobby Chacon. In Salt Lake City, Utah, retired police commander and host of the Profiling Evil podcast, Mike King. Welcome to both of you. Bobby, Mike, you're both so experienced. You've covered, not covered, but investigated so many cases. And Bobby, have you seen something like this before? This is like one of those sick Lifetime movies where this stranger comes in and, you know, in the beginning is the greatest guy in the world and is going to help this family. And then it turns into a house of horrors.
Unfortunately, Vinny, I've seen it all too much, and you know, the level of inhuman, long-term cruelty that someone like this can allegedly perpetrate against this woman and her children, it's just something that transcends what most of us in society are ever exposed to, and I'm glad for that. But in my career, especially with the dive team, I've had to recover, you know, a number of children who met their ends by, you know, by perpetrators and by predators and things like that. And this coward, if these allegations are true, and there's every reason to believe so far, I've read some of the reports to believe that it's true. The mother has said that he told her that the little boy was dead, and they found the boy in a freezer with, you know, covered with frozen food and a fake cardboard bottom to the freezer. This is one of those cases that we see every couple of years, that the level of cruelty and torture and murder, you just can't wrap your head around it. Even though I've seen it before, every time it bothers me to my core, and I can't even tell you, you know, I can't even tell you how much this kind of case stays with these investigators. And you're motivated at the time to do everything you can to put this guy away for as long as you can. But after the case is over, I remember every one of these cases I was ever personally involved in.
Mike King, you now host the Profiling Evil podcast. This little boy was subjected to some extreme evil.
But like Bobby said, you have these cases in your history that when something like this comes up, I immediately think of a little boy, Ian Wing, and he was punished over 7 weeks of his life and slowly squeezed to death. You never forget those cases, Vinny, as you well know, and they haunt you over and again. It's beyond my understanding why we continue to have child after child that there are months and months, if not years, that pass without a family member stepping up and saying, I haven't heard from this child. I haven't seen my grandson or my grandchild. I haven't seen my brother's child. And while we're all afraid of offending someone or hurting something, this is our most prized possession out there that's being victimized by these kinds of people. And I think Bobby used the best word, cowards. And I think of this poor family and a mom who knew for months that her child was dead and she's chained in her room. If we believe her testimony and what's being shared in the media, this thing was horrendous. And thank goodness that this little child had the foresight to be able to share her mom's message with a school teacher that stepped up and immediately called police.
Wow. Let's take a listen. The family members of Mason spoke out. Let's hear what they had to say.
We are Mason's voice. He is no longer here to defend himself. We have to get justice in every way, shape, or form. I don't have any words for it because I just can't wrap my head around this. I don't understand it. I don't think anybody does.
All right, let's get to the investigation now. And justice for Mason is what this case and investigation is about. And obviously, the mother has described something, and it's going to be up to investigators to verify everything. So what goes into all this? Bobby, I'll start with you. We heard our reporter, Abel Garcia, describe what the lawyer was saying was inside the house. These seem to be all things that would be verifiable to a certain extent by investigators.
You're absolutely right, Vinny. And these cases, as horrific as they are not always the most complicated to work. I think what you're going to have is the testimony of the mother and the testimony of the little girl, the daughter, the survivor, and then you're going to have the physical evidence in that home. And I think they have a lot of both. And I think that you'll look at the mother's testimony, you'll look at some of the statements from the child, and you'll see them supported by the physical and forensic evidence that they've gathered in the house. It didn't look like he did a lot of covering up or anything. The child's body was found there at a place that he had access to every day. So I think that this is not going to be a complicated prosecution. I think that the defense is already trying to get him a mental health evaluation and things like that because, the level of cruelty and the level of horror in this case is something that is going to be debated about whether or not a human being, a sane, sound of mind human being can perpetrate this kind of stuff. And that gets into the legal definitions and things like that. But I think from an investigative standpoint, you don't have a lot of places to go. You have the house, you have the physical evidence and the forensics from the house, you have the mom's statement and the daughter's statement, and those are going to support each other and be supported by the physical evidence. And then you tell the jury the story.
Mike King, let me ask you, and again, if these allegations are true and that's where it's leading investigators, do they need to take a closer look at this guy and figure out who else he's crossed paths with through the years, where he's been? Or from your experience, is it possible that someone accused of something like this could lead a relatively normal life? And what I mean is law-abiding, not killing or abusing other people, and this is the first thing that you do?
Yeah, and if all of the media reports are accurate, this isn't the first thing that he's done. There's evidence out there that suggests that there was a domestic violence situation in front of a child with his sister a few years ago. And then just a short time later, that thing is pled down. I believe in that one, the sister actually drops the charges against him and he walks. Well, that doesn't solve a problem. And then if the reports are correct, there's another domestic violence event where he actually assaults a woman that he's dating or is living with. And that he ends up getting 90 days of a talk and walk, and he's turned loose, told to do some anger management counseling, and whether that's completed or not, it's unknown. But there's already evidence of an escalation, and I think as the investigators turn this thing upside down, they're going to find additional kinds of things. It looked like there were a number of on social searches, a number of just traffic violations and DUIs and other kinds of things in this background. But this case is one that is going to be really important to look at the behaviors and the escalations in behaviors as he goes through this change. This guy is a little bit charismatic, obviously, to get this woman to move in with him and then slowly start gaining trust. And as Bobby was talking about the evidence, I kept thinking, we're going to see what this child died from. Did he die because he was sick and then they disposed of his body? Or is there going to be evidence that there was a homicide of blunt force trauma or something else? There's still so much information that's going to come out of that house that's going to really paint a picture of who this individual was that committed this crime.
All right, Mike King, Bobby Chacon staying with us. When we come back, we're going to open up tonight's Unsolved